house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a goal builder that could teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychological black on firm, but we ain't all black.
Yo, what's up? What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Today is Healthcare Thursday with Dr. Jones, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited to have this conversation with you today, y'all. This is going to be so good because we're going to be talking about how Big Pharma, how they're operating, how they're keeping a lot of folks sick, and how there's just this huge healthcare monopoly going on, and we're going to break it all the way down. And it's so great to actually have a physician, a practicing physician. She has her own practice. She's in the hospital. She is operating and doing all the things on the people. And she's also an advocate. So it's great to have a physician actually here to talk about the ins and outs and how that goes. But before we get started, I think this is a really, really important topic. You guys, I need you guys to go tell everybody. I think y'all need to go tell everybody that we need to have a conversation to come and join the Grow Your Money podcast. You know what? I need to add, I'm going to add Instagram to this too. But tell everybody that they need to get on this live right now because what we're getting ready to talk about is so important. Your life can depend on it. I don't know if you know, statistically, so much going on. And a lot of times when we have things like this that happen, Black folks tend to be the most affected. And here's the thing. If curing people actually made money, the United States will be the healthiest country in the world because of capitalism. And instead, we spend more on healthcare than any other nation on earth. And we are sicker than ever. So that's not a failure of medicine. That is a system that's working as it's designed to work. In my opinion, it's working against us. So we're going to have Dr. Jones come and talk to us about that. I'm going to bring her on right now so we can have this conversation. But again, make sure that you guys go tell your people about this because their life can depend on it. What's up, Dr. Jones? How you doing today?
Hello, good morning. Happy Heart Month.
Oh, is this Heart Month?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I didn't. I have my red on. You said what?
That's why I have my red on.
Oh.
You have red lipstick on.
Okay. I'm in the Heart Month. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in the Heart Month.
Okay. So can you tell me just a little bit to tell the folks a little bit about your background and why you got into medicine before we get into like the nitty gritty? I want to just, for those people who may just have discovered you, who are you, what you do, and how you got where you are today?
Well, I've always known I wanted to be a physician. It started when I was a little girl. I loved to play with frogs and inject them with alcohol and operate on the grasshoppers and everything. And as I got older, I started deciding, okay, how can I be a doctor? Because we have a book out that is, do I have it? And I told my story in the book. It is Unbreakable. Because I grew up in the 60s and the early 70s, the 70s also. And little girls were not supposed to be doctors. They're supposed to be nurses, and especially little Black girls. So I struggled, studied hard, did what I needed to do, and got into medical school, went to medical school, roll ahead, had a child, and I was eating everything out of stress, working all the time. And I noticed my weight going up. I noticed I was getting sicker and sicker. I got diabetes. I got high blood pressure. I had high cholesterol. And
Wait. You mean to tell me you as a physician had diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol? I don't get it. How did that happen?
Yeah, it's life. Life start lifing. You get stressed. You pick up the things that are easy to eat. So on the way to the hospital and in the hospital cafeterias, you get the fried chicken, you get the mac and cheese. These are feel-good foods. And, they're foods that are in our families. And so it reminds you when you stress, we stress eat. Yes. And I loved donuts. And so I started going up in weight. Cholesterol started going up. blood pressure started going up, and developed diabetes. And I realized I was sicker than all my patients.
That's
And
crazy.
so I was like, how can, at the rate I'm going, I will not be able to be around for my daughter. I will have medical problems. And I knew that I had to make a change. So I studied, realized that eliminating meat, eliminating all the processed foods and sugar actually cured all of these things. And that's how I pulled myself out of Big Pharma, out of the medical field, out of the big insurance, out of all those, should I say, I'm trying to think of the right
You don't want to say the wrong thing, Doc.
academic medicine, because as a physician, we're trained to give medications. We had maybe an hour of, I don't even know, maybe 2 or 3 hours of nutrition. And we
That's
were never
crazy.
taught to heal people by changing their diets,
So wait, hold on. So you guys heard a doctor say, y'all heard from a doctor. Y'all heard a doctor say that when she went to medical school, now she is a physician. She's a physician this way, right? And this is pointing towards you because it's opposite. She is a physician. And she said that in medical school, they didn't even have a whole day of a nutritional class. They had an hour nutrition. So how do you expect to be able to help people heal if you only have an hour of a nutrition class? That is insane. I was actually out to dinner with Dr. Boyce a couple of nights ago, and I told him that. I told him because we were talking about, Big Pharma. We were talking about kind of this very thing. And I was telling him that you said that, yeah, like I told him you had a day. I said, yeah, this physician said she had a day. You said an hour.
Well, if you add up like a whole week and an hour a week, that almost is a day, But it was not a semester.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was like
crazy.
And the thing is, it was something that we really didn't pay attention to.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't pushed. But that's what we're going to talk about today.
Let me say this. So if you're just tuning in, one of the things I said is in this country, because we are in a capitalistic society, if curing people made money, we would actually be the healthiest country in the world. If curing people, but the opposite is true. Right. Keeping people sick is what's keeping people sick because it makes the most money. Yeah. The United States spends more on healthcare than any other nation on earth, and we are sicker than we've ever been in the history of the world. And that's not because of medicine failure, that's because of the system. Let me tell you this also. America actually spends $4.5 trillion a year on healthcare. However, think about this, $4.5 trillion is spent every year on healthcare, but yet nearly 6 out of 10 adults live with at least one chronic disease. So 60%. So we spend $4.5 trillion on healthcare. 60% of adults live with at least one chronic disease. Yo, when I be going to the doctor, y'all, and they be asking questions like, have you had this? I'd be like checking. I'd be like, as I'm checking, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. No, thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Right? Because 6 in 10 adults live with at least one chronic disease. So you would think about it. If the goal was really healing, then those numbers would not exist together. 4.5 trillion spent on healthcare, but yet 60% of adults live with at least one chronic disease. That is absolutely insane. And we need to call it what it is. It's the system. The system doesn't reward prevention, Dr. Jones, right? The system rewards
not healthcare, it's sick care. And it's sick care to feed the money into Big Pharma, insurance companies, and fast foods, and our government.
Oof. All of them in conjunction.
Right. So that's why I actually created my practice and pulled out. I said, as a physician, I want to help people. I want to heal people. I was not healing people. I was prescribing more medications. And as God DB says, doctors get fined if they don't prescribe what the insurance companies tell you, because the insurance companies own the hospitals who get money from the government, who get money from Big Pharma.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how all of this. Let's talk about this whole what do you call it? This whole circle. But I wanted to say something else. This whole circle of how all of this stuff works. We're going to break it down real quick. Watch this.
Aetna, the health insurance company, correct?
Correct.
And CVS, which owns Aetna, also owns Oak Street Health Medical Clinics, correct?
Yes, it does.
And in addition to that, they own, of course, CVS Pharmacies, and CVS Health also owns CVS Caremark, the pharmacy benefit manager, which helps negotiate some of these rebates and prescription prices, correct?
That's correct.
I was following one of CVS's one of CVS's investor calls where they really laid out quite clearly what this means if you are a patient. This is what's known as a captive strategy. And CVS in the investor call used the example themselves of a patient known as Kate. Kate has an Aetna health insurance plan right here, and which is owned by CVS Health. She then goes to a CVS pharmacy. She's connected to an Oak Street Health medical clinic. She sees a doctor at Oak Street Health who prescribes her medication. And then she goes to fill that prescription at a CVS pharmacy. So the price Kate pays for that medication is dictated by Aetna, CVS Caremark, and they also own the drug manufacturer Cordavis. Mr. Joyner, this is quite a bit of market concentration. Wouldn't you agree?
No, I wouldn't agree that it's market concentration. I would suggest it's a model that works really well for the consumer.
I think it works very well for CVS. In fact, you all said on the call that you all call it a fully engaged member. It's great marketing there. Fully engaged member unlocks sizable value for payers and CVS Health. So the health insurance gets a cut, the pharmacy benefit manager gets a cut, the drug manufacturer gets a cut, and the patient gets screwed because whether you're a blue-blooded capitalist or a card-carrying democratic socialist, I think corporate monopolies are a problem. And this vertical integration is destroying people's ability to access care. But when you own the care, when the insurer owns the pharmacy, owns the PBM, owns the drug manufacturer, you also own the healthcare cost. You own a big chunk of the healthcare cost. And so, 100 years ago, we had this type of market concentration in our banks. And we did something about it when it crashed the economy. And we passed the Glass-Steagall Act. We should be considering that in our healthcare system. And if we believe in competition, I think we should put our votes and our legislation in alignment with that and consider breaking up this industry in order to allow the competition that prevents this kind of vertical integration and abuse of power. And with that, I yield back.
Man, listen, Dr. Jones, this is a cold ass supply chain system that they got going. This is a cold ass supply chain. What I get from that is,
let's talk about that though.
Okay.
Because the other parts she left out,
Yeah.
she didn't get the whole tentacles of everything.
Okay.
Let's talk about our government actually sets the Health and Human Services. They set these guidelines. So I'm gonna share a slide.
Okay.
Okay, if I figure out how to do this.
Go ahead.
How do I add it?
So just click on the slide.
Okay.
Which one you want to do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Let's do 2. Okay, so the Health and Human Services. This is our previous Health and Human Service person, Alex Azar. Right now, we all know it's RFK Jr. Right?
What a joke.
Okay, go to 3. Let's talk about this guy. In 2012 to 2017, he is the president of Eli Lilly, one of the largest pharmaceutical companies, which means he's over leading drug prices as a Health and Human Secretary and deciding what needs to be done. But you don't think if he's getting, as the president of Eli Lilly, he's kind of leaning toward drugs that Eli Lilly produces. In
Right.
2018 to 2021, as the U.S. Human Health Services, he oversaw the CDC, which decides what all our health care, okay? The FDA, which is the food we eat, the NIH, which is all the the pharmaceutical research and national health, our water, the meat, and CMS is our Medicaid and our Medicare and the money that goes to the hospital. This is the man. So you're telling me that it has all type of tentacles in all these other things, and this is who they had over our Health and Human Services. Let's go to the next slide, which is 4.
So somebody on Instagram said, "My God, what a conflict of interest."
Exactly.
Number 5, you said?
Yeah, number 4. Let's go to 4.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about Big Pharma. Jeffrey Kindler. Okay. He was the executive VP of McDonald's. Okay.
Wait,
Over-
what?
The executive VP of McDonald's, but he's also connected to Big Pharma. Now, what do you think about that? You're on one side feeding food that
Killing people.
making people sick. And then he makes all this money with Pfizer. And if you see in 2006 to 2010, he led the Wyeth, which is another big pharmaceutical company, acquisition. Okay.
Is
All right.
so
then let's
so
go
we're
to
relying on the person who was in charge of killing us to
Right.
healing us. Okay, got it.
Right. Okay, so let's go to slide 5. So people who let's notice those hands. Okay, notice the hands. So all of these people
with the 2 white hands.
Well, I thought one of them.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's brown?
we can leave it there. We can
Okay.
leave it there because it ain't many of us up there.
All
You're
right.
absolutely right. Okay. So number 1, so corporate health interests affect our health policies. And you see why now? Because it's all the same people. The insurance, like she talked about, CVS, the pharmaceutical big pharma. Now they've bought up health clinics. They're putting money into hospitals. The government is the one who's setting the guidelines. Our food systems come through the Health and Human Services, which we're going to talk about that soon. And so, as someone mentioned, doesn't that raise transparency, ethics concerns? So slide the next one, the IMG.
What number is that?
It's the one right after that.
Okay.
It says IMG.
Okay.
So these are not only health insurance, but life insurances. Prudential.
What? They own a life insurance company too?
Yeah. Prudential, Mass Mutual. And some of these also provide malpractice insurance for physicians. This is how much money they're spending. Guess these are the donors. Look at the donors. KFC, Pizza Hut, Jack in the Box, fast food, everything.
So wait a minute. Wait. So the donors of the life insurance companies are the fast food companies.
Well, these insurances, they give money to.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
So these fast food companies, they're all shaking hands because they're giving money to. They're putting financial support. Because the thing is, if you sit on the board, it can be traced. You can't sit on the board because that's a conflict of interest. But it doesn't say that I can't give you, a meal here, 2 meal here. And guess what? If you're getting a meal here and a meal there, how do you think that affects your decision making?
They're absolutely not looking out for our best interest.
They're not.
It affects their bottom line. Deborah Will Wynn said something about 500 years already. What she say on there? She said they got 500 years or more planned for their family's wealth.
Oh, exactly.
Off the backs of your health.
Right.
Insane.
So if going back to what you were saying, it doesn't stop there. So this is information, Constance is being forward, letting people know she's pulling off the veil, she's pulling off the layers. But I want you don't take our words, fact check us. Go Google it. Go
Google
to
that shit.
yeah.
Let me just pose this.
Mm-hmm.
Because if America was built on the idea that monopolies are dangerous, they're a danger to the freedom of this country. We have antitrust laws for a reason, right? So then the real question becomes, if monopolies are illegal in theory, why are they everywhere in practice, especially in healthcare?
Because they only apply to us, the non-billionaires.
Mm.
So let's talk about that also. So when I first became a physician and was training, pharmaceutical drug reps would come out. They would give us dinner, they would give us lunch, they would take us on CME visits so that we can learn. Because if we're always practicing, then we, a lot of times we don't learn about the new drugs that are coming out. We'll get the information from them. Well, the government stepped in and said they can't do that anymore because we're not smart enough to accept those dinners, because we'll start writing all of their meds.
Oh, okay, got it.
And now that only happened in the health field, because you see NFL players they wine and dine the team members before they recruit. I mean, everybody does it. The government does it. They put that, people give them money to, they find a way to make it work for them, the billionaires.
Wow.
It doesn't work for us.
Actually, Dr. Jones, I'm actually putting together a spotlight. You know how I like to do my spotlights. I'm actually doing a spotlight on all the corporations who've donated to the administration post-inauguration. And what I'm discovering in this is, of course, we know what the oligarchy is and what it means and how it affects everything that we do. So the only people who are benefiting in anything has nothing to do with we, the people. It has everything to do with keeping these corporations more wealthy. Meta donated X amount of dollars. They got benefits as a result. AI donated X amount of dollars. They got benefits. When I tell you all the corruption that's happening, all this money that Trump is collecting, and all the people who are getting benefits and or contracts as a result of them, it is absolutely wild. You guys are going to see. And Big Pharma, there's definitely a few pharma companies that are on that list, but it's if you think these people give a damn about you, we was complaining a few years ago about lobbyists, but it's gotten even worse. Today,
it's beyond that. Yeah,
it's beyond that. This administration has collected far more, and I can't remember how many millions of dollars than any other administration combined.
Which says a lot, because the other administrations were collecting
they was collecting too.
They're actually all in cahoots, because if you think about it, this just didn't start when this president walked in.
Correct.
He just dialed it up to 1,000% times.
Wow.
That means that all of this was already in place.
Yeah, it was set up for this. Is a perfect storm for something like this to happen, right?
Right. So even let's go a little bit further than that and see how far the tentacles. Now, this was shocking to me, but I kind of knew it, because if I think back, that's why we were not taught nutrition in medical schools. So what I found out is our American Medical Association receives mega bucks from Pfizer, Eli Lilly, Merck, Amgen, Sanofi, AbbVie, all the pharmaceuticals, and their donors are listed at levels ranging from 100,000 to cover over $1 million in cumulative lifetime contributions. Also,
how is that legal?
Our physician boards, these are the boards, so we can practice medicine, receive just as much money from Big Pharma, A lot of the doctors at the higher levels, the billion-dollar levels, who they put up in our government to make, they're on the boards and they are getting paid. These are paid boards. These are not non-paid boards. Some of these medical positions on these boards, they make $1 million a year and they only show up 4 times a year.
That is insane.
So what do you think about that monopoly? So let's also talk about, if you all remember, they broke up the phone company because of monopoly.
Exactly.
But now AI, well, let's talk about Amazon.
Okay.
Stores are closing everywhere.
Mhm.
How is that not a monopoly?
Because he's contributed millions and millions and millions of dollars to the administration. That's why.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And so the same thing is happening. Our healthcare system, it comes down to there's a very few healthcare systems in the United States because they're all being bought up by the big ones.
So if monopolies are supposed to be illegal, why is your health care controlled by fewer companies than your phone service?
Exactly. And so let's even think further. So you have an insurance company that pays for your health care, right?
Mm-hmm.
It also gets dollars from Kentucky Fried Chicken and all of that. So they're creating and supporting the things that make you sick.
Mm-hmm.
But then they charge you higher cost when you have disease.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know at the change of the century, there were only 500,000 people in the United States that had cardiovascular disease? Now in 2024, when we're more advanced, we got all of these screening methods, it's 700,000 that are dying. They're saying roughly 100,000 people per year. That goes back to what you're talking about.
So at the turn of the century, meaning the 2000 century. So
no, I'm talking about 1900.
So at the turn of 1900s, 5,000 people had cardiovascular disease.
500,000 people.
500,000. Now
Right.
Today, how many people?
They said about 700,000 is what, that was in 2024 because, 2025 with the new regime, they're not keeping these records anymore.
They're not?
No, that's what, they took us out of all of that. We have RFK that Junior that's over this and he's not collecting it. Remember, all these people quit in the CDC because they were asking them to fudge numbers to come out with craziness because he's not a physician. He's not a PhD in any healthcare executive, none of that.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys just tuning in, I'm talking to Dr. Shirley Jones. She is actually a practicing medical physician. And we are talking about how Big Pharma is keeping us sick through their healthcare monopoly. And I think this is so interesting. It's definitely a life or death topic. So first of all, go tell your friends to tune in because this is really, really important. If you're watching from Instagram, you can also watch us on YouTube. Come to my channel anywhere at I Am Constance Carter on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all the channels. Where can they find you, Dr. Jones?
www.askdrj.info on all social media platforms.
Okay, so she's at Ask Dr. J. So this whole idea of, and I know you have a whole lot that you want to talk about, but I want to talk about like statistics because I was able to research some statistics on this impact about how much we spend because this is, I think, it puts a lot of it in perspective when we look at how all of this is going. And then somebody on Instagram, I love it because that's why we come here. She said, how do we move forward with all the information we find out? We can wow all day, but how do we become a problem solver? And we're going to talk about that as well. But let me just drop some statistics. US spends nearly twice as much per person on healthcare as other developed nations, yet ranks lowest in life expectancy than any other country. Now, here's the thing too. Every other first world country has free healthcare. And I said in the beginning, if healing people made money, we would be the most healed people in the world. We are the only first world country that doesn't offer free healthcare. When they voted to have free healthcare, a lot of people didn't want it. You know why? Because Black folks was getting it too. So they cut off their noses to spite their faces just because they wanted to keep your black ass from getting health care. Let's talk about that. So now everybody's sick, they dying, their mama's dying, everybody else is dying because nobody wants to have free health care. Over 90% of US healthcare spending goes towards managing chronic and mental health conditions and not curing them. And that's extremely important, because one of the things that I've learned just by having conversations every Thursday with Dr. Jones is they don't medicate you to heal you. They medicate you just to treat you so that you can continue with what you're doing. So
to keep buying those diabetes meds, to keep buying the high blood pressure meds. And then when those patents go off, they come up with a new one. They brand it new so they can charge you a higher price. A new and better.
This is a
and then the pharmaceutical companies tell the physicians and the hospital systems, oh, you can only prescribe these medications, which of course are the new brand new medicines.
Which is the same thing essentially, but they're just charging more
They're
money.
back in patent and they can charge a high price. But they control the research, so they're going to make it sound better. It's all about marketing, as in your video you showed.
Big Pharma generates hundreds of billions of dollars annually, with the top pharmaceutical companies reporting profit margins higher than most tech companies. The United States and New Zealand are the only two countries that allow direct-to-consumer pharmaceutical advertising. Interesting. Prescription drug prices in the U.S. are 2 to 3 times more higher than other wealthy nations. Mm-hmm. And finally, Black Americans, because this is important, we are 60% more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes, what you say? 40% more likely to have high blood pressure, and often are prescribed medication earlier and lifestyle intervention later. So they don't want you to get healed. They want to keep you sick.
Which goes to all these fast foods being put in our environments.
Which is absolutely crazy. So the fast food companies are donating to the life insurance companies? Is that what's going on?
Life insurance, the health insurance, everything. A lot of these people sit on the same boards. It's all designed. It's by design. It's sick care. It's to make a buck. And they've been finding out that, they're trying to reduce the population in America.
It's part of population control.
Population control. We create fake foods. We put all this processed. We add the high fructose corn syrup, which it makes you addicted. And that's why you go back and got to have that fried chicken. That's why you go and I got to have, that sweet tea from McDonald's.
That's
because why we have to eat the bad food. So let's put it out. You live in an area on the other side of the track, or where it's a food desert. Mm-hmm. The land that you're living in most likely has chemicals that was released by these big companies that they're not making them clean up the land, because a lot of that was stopped by administrations that come in. Mm-hmm. So then there you go. Then up in all of our neighborhoods, what's the 2-3 major things that they put stores?
Check cashing stores, liquor stores, and what's the third one?
And fast food.
Oh, and fast food, yeah.
And fast food. Mm-hmm. So in all the areas, they may not be a good grocery store, but I can promise you, you got a Popeye's chicken, a McDonald's, or whatever is the flavor of where you live in the United States.
So let me because you said it so politely. You said on the other side of the tracks. What she's saying is, in Black concentrated neighborhoods, okay, let's keep it real. In Black concentrated neighborhoods, what you're going to find, especially when there's low investment in these neighborhoods, and this is all historical. I'm a history buff. I love history, but this is all historical. This is done by design, because when Black people started moving into these urban areas, that's when they took the investment and the economies out of those communities, and they stopped. And then, of course, the tax bases lowered, white flight, you had urban decay, all the things. So as a result of that, they weren't investing in grocery stores. They were investing in liquor stores. They were investing in check cashing places. They weren't investing. That's why they're called food deserts, because they're areas where you will not find any fresh whole foods. These kids are getting up. They're going to school. They're stopping by the liquor store. Licksto. They stop at my liquor store. They getting some hot Cheetos. They
Mhm.
getting a grape soda. And so what does that do to the children? Now that there's a high level of obesity, diabetes is on the rise, ADD, all of these things as
All these
well,
thinking so that they can't learn,
so that they can't learn.
but we don't give money to the schools in the area.
There's
So
in the pipeline.
because you know how it is when you have a lot of sugar around,
Mhm,
sluggish.
mhm. Yeah, you're gonna eat it.
You're
So
gonna eat, you get sluggish, and you get to school, and so you're not, you
performing.
know, yeah. We have to reprogram our people to wake up.
I was just having a conversation with somebody yesterday about this very thing. And you always, and I was like, every time I talk to Dr. Jones, because one of the things that you always say, she says, it's not medication that heals you. It's what you put in your mouth, but it's not medication. It's food and how we eat every day. It affects, like with men's reproductive health. When we talk about sex, men can't perform because of their diets, because of high blood pressure, because of diabetes.
Right.
Now they're impotent and they can't do what it is that they like to do that we all like to do
Right.
because
Then
of
they get angry, and then they get on edge, and then you make bad decisions when you angry on edge, which I talk about inflammation and being in the fight or flight system. So you make bad decisions, bad choices with relationships, hence the failure of why Black women are fighting against Black men and we can't understand each other, which we also have problems with sex, as you said, because you can't perform, or if they can't perform, then they feel some kind of way. So they go get younger women who will deal with it because they're giving them money. You know, it all
relates.
it
I
all
think
relates.
that there is a targeted effort, and I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna always say it, against our people first. We've been social experiments since the inception of this country, with what happened during slavery when they used to perform, when they the modern what was the guy's name? He was his name something modern of gynecology, where he would perform
Yeah.
on young girls with no anesthesia, young Black girls, so that he can make it easier for the white women. Then you come up, you have, you have the Tuskegee experiments, you have the Mississippi appendectomies. All of these things were very targeted efforts against us. There are targeted efforts, in every single direction. There are targeted efforts, and I love Black people because I mentioned those statistics. Our rates of diabetes and hypertension is 40 to 60% higher than everybody else's. We have, we got mass incarceration, we have all those things against us, but yet and still, in spite of all that, we're still resilient. I love
We're
that.
still here.
We're still here, and I love that about us. But we got, if
But we
I
don't
think
have to die in our 60s and 70s. We're accepting that.
you had a really important story, Dr. Jones, and I'm sorry for interrupting you, but you said you looked around because you told your story earlier. You looked around and you had no elders.
No, I had no elders.
Talk about that.
Yeah, so my parents are basically from the South. I grew up with one grandmother because everybody else had died early. The grandmother lived long, but my parents, my mother's aunts, her brothers and sisters, which are my aunts and uncles, heart disease, kidney failure, and dying in birth, which Black women are still dying in birth. And everybody turns an eye, turns their back to it.
It's not a crisis because it's not white women. It will be a national crisis if it wasn't us. So you looked around and you said,
I don't have any elders. So when I had my daughter, there were, my mother last for maybe till my daughter was 4. So my daughter has no
grandparents,
no great grandparents. And I don't either. I didn't grow up with that one grandmother.
So what's the average age of lifespan in your family?
Well, probably I say in the 60s and 70s. However, this generation have lasted through the 70s. But, we don't have anybody in the 90s, nobody in the 100s. Diabetes, high blood pressure, strokes, cancers, all have taken my family out.
One of the things that I've heard you say too, Dr. Jones, you said that people don't inherit diseases. What do they inherit?
Behaviors. And the sad part about it, because of the way we're trained as physicians, you will hear physicians tell their patients, oh, you're going to have that because your mother had diabetes. But you're sitting there with a mother who weighs over 200 pounds. You're sitting there with the children that are 170 at 8 years old. You're saying that diabetes follows in families.
Yeah, no, it's how they eating all that good food.
Right. That's not good food. That's death food.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's eating habits.
Mm-hmm.
We do the same thing that's familiar to us.
Mm-hmm.
We have got to wake up and realize we're killing ourselves. We're actually helping them kill us.
That is absolutely insane. So there's all this stuff that we see, Dr. Jones. And one thing I love about what you do is you practice medicine. You have your own practice, or are you in another facility?
Yes, I actually have my own practice because I refuse to work for the system that tells me to write people prescriptions. Mm-hmm. And so I created my own practice. This is my 6th year in practice, and I can practice in Florida because we practice by state, unless you get other state license. Mm-hmm. However, I provide many people with a consultation to help you, give you the information so you can wake up and do better about life. There are a lot of people out there, like people are mentioning Dr. Sebi diet. I'm a vegan. I went totally vegan. I have healed myself. Everybody always talks about, oh, your skin is beautiful. This, because I drink water. I eat plants. I eat fruits. I go to sleep at night. I don't stay up all night. I don't overwork. I balance my life spiritually, emotionally, and physically. And that's what we have to do. We need to stop this. I got to grind, because when you grind, it makes you eat the wrong foods.
Puffy said, you sleep when you die.
And that's, well, that's where it is.
But that was the thought process of a lot of people, is that I got to grind, got to hustle, got to grind, got to hustle, got to grind, and so it's like, I'll sleep later. I got to get it now. But that's very short-lived.
Very short-lived. We have to learn to say no, to be intentional, and to wake up. Don't just believe what we're saying. Go do your own research. It will open your eyes. And you will see, hurry up and do the research, because, the government has friends and billionaire friends that are taking over
every facet of our life.
Right.
Every facet of our life.
They're telling us not to get immunized. And so diseases we have totally eradicated are coming back. And guess what? They're not going to tell you that there are outbreaks, because who's in office? RFK. He said, we don't vaccinate.
That's crazy.
And so people are dying of these diseases. Nobody knows. Nobody can find out. So you got to wake up. Stop believing everything you see and do your own research.
What's crazy, I think, is when I see overweight doctors, because you said you were an overweight doctor.
Yes, I was an overweight doctor.
Sometimes I'll go to a nutritionist, just to get my little, I call them crack pills, but my little phenermine, my little fat pills.
A lot of them are overweight.
Huh?
A lot of them are overweight.
Yes, they're all overweight. I'm like, how they helping me? And they're, I don't get it. But it's really interesting that you have these people that we're looking to these people, and Black folks, a lot of, especially older Black people, we think that the word of a physician is the next best thing to God, no matter what they say, how they say it. And here the thing is,
so let me correct you.
Mm-hmm.
The word of a white physician.
Ooh, they second guess you all the time, Dr. Jones?
All the time.
Really?
Oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be a vegan. I'm not. You sitting up there, you got cankles, you're swollen, your blood pressure out the roof. You stop by and get ribs on the way to see me. And I'm giving you the steps.
I'm giving you, yeah, I'm giving you.
I can promise you, because I've had many colleagues that are, my partners when I used to work for these big, they can say the same thing I say.
And they'll listen to them.
Oh yeah, well the doctor told me.
And that, and y'all need to keep that same energy that you got with this sister when you go see them white people.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. We know statistically, Black people who go to Black doctors, they live longer. There's such thing as medical bias. And what happens is you as a Black man and a white man could have the exact same symptoms, and they will treat you very differently. They'll give you a Black man a aspirin and tell you take your ass home. They will run all the tests on the white man. It is what it is. That's why Black women die at childbirth at alarming rates. We don't see the same thing with white women because they simply do not care. That's why that white woman was allowing that Black woman to holler and scream when she was in labor. They don't care. They think our pain tolerance is higher than everybody's. They think that we're on drugs if we're in pain. They just don't look at us as human. And that's the unfortunate thing. So number one, you need a Black doctor. Number two, question everything. Dr. Jones always says, get a second opinion if you don't feel comfortable, but don't take what they say as gold. Do your research because again, your life can depend on it. Right, Dr. Jones?
Right. Always do your research. And you don't have to believe us in the information we are pulling out.
Mm-hmm.
Go do your research.
Do your own research.
And you'll see, our physician boards are being paid by these pharmaceuticals.
That is crazy.
Which I bet most of you all don't know. We have to maintain boards by this organization. The organization grades the board on a curve. What that means is, doesn't matter how many smart people take it, they're going to flunk so many. So these boards, 1,000, 2,000 just to sit. If you flunk it, you got to do another one. So see, all of this is control.
It's the supply chain. It all goes in the.
And recently what came out about, I try not to talk about it, but the Epstein, he was taking those girls to an OBGYN in Ohio.
And doing what?
They said they were giving them donations. Major university training OBGYN, the head of the department. Why is Epstein giving that money? What do you think is happening?
The swamp runs deep, baby. The swamp runs deep.
So awareness, as Calvin McWilliams says, is critical. What you decide to do with the awareness, you could decide to do nothing and sit back and stay quiet. Or you can decide to wake up and create a plan for you.
So that leads me to a question though. What do we do? Because just like the lady said on Instagram, we can wow all the hell we want to. What do we, specifically Black people, do? Because anything that happens with America, whatever happens in America, we always have it worse. They get the cold, we get the flu, like everything. So what preventions do we do, or what precautions can we take to be insulated from this madness?
Stop eating the fake food. Stop eating fast foods, fried foods. Cut the sugar out. Because that way, when you go, start by just doing a fast for 24 hours. Just drink water. And if you're diabetic, you can still just do a few juices. Or if you want to know how to do that, you can always reach out to me on askdrj.info and set up a consultation, and I can help you do that. But once you get from under all the bad food, your thinking will clear up. So then it will all make sense to you. And then you think about before the next time you stop, I got to have my ribs. I got to have that. You'll stop this and just say, hey, I need to do something about this. reach out to your senators, your representatives, even though they may or may not listen, but let them know we do not want this. Why are you all trying to kill us? Why are you telling us not to take vaccines? Studies have shown that it's not connected with autism.
So let me ask you a question, because you simplified this as it being simply the things that you put in your mouth. It's
It
what
is.
you
And
do.
your lifestyle, not sleeping enough.
So what percentage of our illness derives from what we eat, would you say, Dr. Jones?
I'm not just going to say what you eat, but your lifestyle. So your
Okay.
lifestyle is probably like 94%.
Woo! Lifestyle.
Okay, so let's talk about habits. Habits. If you are always drinking, smoking, hookah, you're introducing things into your lung that your lungs are only meant for air. If you drink and go out and kill somebody, that's a lifestyle.
And then the
Yeah.
alcohol turns into sugar, right?
Yes, it's sugar.
Damn.
And so the thing is, so it's all about lifestyle. If you do drugs, if you sleep around, you get STDs. A lot of stuff that we do affects how we do. And someone said gluttony, greedy. Yeah. Stop eating bad things. Consume more vegetables. And you don't have to going vegan is actually, going plant-based, because vegan is a whole different thing. But going plant-based is, for some people, may have to be just real. You have to take your time. You start with substitutions, but you need to understand what the goal is. The goal is health. Do you want to be around, or do you want to have your ribs and just die?
What's the difference between
fried foods?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. What's the difference between being vegan and plant-based?
So being vegan is basically being animal compassionate.
Okay.
Which means we feel that no animal should be sacrificed for our pleasure.
Okay.
So like we tried, we don't do like leather, we don't do any of that.
Fuck them animals, but go ahead.
They make vegan leather. They make vegan everything. So you can actually get the same look.
So it's okay. That's what being vegan is y'all don't eat meat. Plus, I don't want to eat leather. I don't eat leather because animal cruelty.
Nothing that comes from an animal or insect, anything living other than plants, because plants were put on the earth. That's why there are thousands of plants and fruits for us to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And that was how our bodies were designed to keep us healthy.
Okay.
Because remember, sickness came in from sin.
Right.
If you're Christian, Adam and Eve were in the garden, they were living, they would probably live forever.
Yeah.
But sickness came in with sin. Sin mean, if you believe or not believe, but sin is gluttony, as someone mentioned. Overindulgence. It's all about
the Christians that be the most gluttonous. You go to church and you see the people on the pulpit be the fattest. So
they have them chicken dinners, and whenever they feed at church, everybody got chicken.
In the choir be 600 pounds. So anyway, I'm sorry, Dr. Jones. I'm gonna be serious. Go ahead.
And the other thing is lack of exercise. A lot of times we sit down, and because you have to remember what you put in is what you get out.
Right.
You can't sit on the couch and think you're gonna come out fine.
Right. So lifestyle is what we put in our bodies. Right. So
how we treat our body. You gotta sleep.
So for the people who are like, okay, I want to, okay, so what we put in our bodies, sleep, exercise, right? For the people who like, I really want to try this whole thing of veganism, not veganism, because I don't care about no animals like that. I don't like dogs. I don't like cats.
Plant-based.
Yeah. So being more plant-based for me, and I'm sorry if I'm cruel, but I just don't care about animals like that.
Well, that's fine. Yeah.
How do I start? Because you have a book called The Transition. I don't know where it is, but you got a book called The Transition, and it shows you how to transition from
the transition.
Yeah. But how do you start? Because for a lot of people, it's just overwhelming. And like, how do
they don't know how to do it?
Yeah. How do I just
eating fries and salads?
Yeah.
Right. The transition basically helps you look at your lifestyle. You can get it on Amazon under my name, Dr. Shirley E. Jones, MD. And it helps you start with what the meals you prepare now. So, but the big thing about going plant-based is cooking at home and preparing prior to, so you have food to go to.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can buy at a store that's out unless it's a restaurant that you know how they cook and what they use, that you can go plant-based.
Yeah.
Because there is bad plant-based food that's processed.
Like what?
Like those burgers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's all. It comes from a. What did
Girl, I
it
be thinking I'm doing good. I go to the little vegan spot.
It is better than, well, I don't know, but what are they made
Like
out of?
what are they called? They're called a something burger. What are they called?
Impossible burgers.
Impossible burgers.
What are they made out of? Have you ever read the?
No. Oh, soy. Soy. What are they made out of?
Stuff. They're not plants.
Okay.
GMO type stuff to give you the taste of a burger and the texture.
Yeah, man. That's that GMO.
It was all of those plant-based options came up because the previous administration and our government and the world with the WHO realized we're running out of meat sources by a certain, like, I think they said 2040, there will be no more, because we eat too much meat, and all the animal farms and meat farms are producing a gas that actually affects our ozone layer, and that's why we're having global warming too. It's from the process of all the
Trump
meat.
administration said there's no such thing as global warming.
Right. Well, this is this administration,
Okay. Yeah.
which is a form to, because just because somebody says it doesn't exist, doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
True that. I'm just saying they don't believe in science.
Right. So the first thing to do is stay away from, cut out the sugars.
All right, I'm gonna write this down. Okay, you guys put this in the comments for everybody to see too. So I'm gonna write this down. The first thing we gotta do is cut out sugar. Somebody put this in the comments. So I'm really gonna.
Somebody said Gates and his farting cows. Exactly.
Cut out. Somebody put in the comments. Cut out sugars. So that's number one.
High fructose corn syrup. So start reading your labels and then look at the back. If you see high fructose corn syrup, you should not be eating that. If you go buy things in your label, so it's best to get fresh frozen fruit, fresh frozen vegetables. That's a lot whole food more than canned, unless you look on the back of the can, read the label. If they're more than water and the vegetable that you're eating, and it's like 5 or 6 things, processed.
Okay. So number one, cut out sugars.
Yes.
Y'all better put in the comments so everybody. Okay. Thank you, Lavisha. Cut out sugar. Cut out sugar. All right.
Start there.
High fructose, corn spread, all of that shit.
Corn syrup. Right. Look for that on the back of your label. Start reading your labels.
I remember seeing the commercial when I was younger saying everything that rhymes with gross is not good. Fructose, sucrose, everything that rhymes with gross. That's how I remembered it.
Okay.
So white processed sugar.
Not really. Yeah, but yeah. Okay.
Yes, no? Okay.
And then Calvin McWilliams said the other thing, the next step would be to avoid white processed sugar, bleached flour, white potatoes, white rice.
White potatoes, white rice. Okay. Avoid white processed sugar.
Because it's processed.
So no potatoes?
Now, a potato that you grow, you can eat it. But I'm talking about the potatoes you buy in the grocery stores. Because a lot of times we just pick up because it's easy. And we just do what people tell us to do. And how has that gotten us over the years?
How do I smother my chicken without flour?
Okay, let's talk about it. So how do you
smother a mean chicken?
Okay, how do you smother your chicken? So flour, instead of the white bleach flour you're buying, get they make chickpea flour.
Chickpea flour.
They make different plant type flours. So use that as the flour. Instead of the grease that you're using, use plant-based broth, like vegetable broth.
Oh, okay. Broth.
Okay. And then you can use your seasonings.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see how this turn out.
And just remember, because it's all plants, you got to season it more. So you can use your same seasonings that you have, but just use it more.
Yeah.
And that's why people say, oh, plant-based food doesn't taste well, because you're trying to season it like you season meat products. And you can't. You got to season more.
So we don't know Lowry. Oh, so we can use Lowry's, just use more Lowry's?
Well, probably not. But if that's where we're going to start, let's start there.
Okay. So we said cut out sugars, number one. Number two, avoid white stuff, which is somebody put number two.
It's bleached. Yeah.
White processed sugar, potatoes, rice, etc.
Yeah. Get up and walk.
Walk. Number three, walk.
Drink.
Oh, no, but plant-based. We talking about plant-based. So we know walk, but what's the other thing?
You want to stay with foods. Okay.
Yeah, let's transition.
And then the last thing to do is, are we ready to cut out milk products yet? I wouldn't say do all this at one time.
Okay.
So I would say with milk products, after you've done these other and got used to it, then, because you got to change your taste buds.
Yeah. Okay.
And then what happens is the milk products are like your cheeses and milk, go to plant-based products. And they're not all created the same. The ones you buy in the store are processed, but you can use like cashews, and then you overnight soak them in water. Not the process, it's just natural cashews. Soak them in water, and then you season them, and then you put them in a blender and blend it up in the creamy.
Okay.
You can make your own milk, your own mayonnaise, and but that's more in my book, and we'll get to that point. But
no, this is good. This is really good. And let me tell you, repetition is the mother of all learning, because I hear from you, and I'm talking to you, and it's drilling in for me. It's not an easy transition. When you talk about milk, I kind of chuckled a little bit because I love cheese. Mm-hmm. Like I would just eat cheese for dinner. I'll eat cheese and grapes, and almonds. That'd be like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And my daughter told me like yesterday, Mom, we should go on a what'd you call that?
Plant-based diet.
No, what'd you just say? Reduce your inflammation, a low inflammation diet or something like that. Mm-hmm. And she said we can't eat cheese. I said, okay, let me eat up the rest of that cheese in the refrigerator. Then we'll do the diet. She's like, Mom, you got all this cheese in there, like these little blocks of cheese, these little square blocks of cheese. I said, let's go ahead and eat up the rest of this cheese, and then we'll go with this low inflammation diet. But this is all very important, because one of the things that I've heard you say in the past, Dr. Jones, is that the inflammation is what causes diseases.
Right.
Inflammation is what causes diseases. What causes inflammation?
Increasing your cholesterol, your cortisol, the hormone cortisol, which it comes from. So which is a whole nother long thing, but overall, animal products are high in cortisol, they're high in fat, they're high in cholesterol, they have a lot of preservatives. Because if you think about the process from the animal gets killed to the process getting to your grocery store is roughly 2 to 3, 4 weeks. If you're like in Florida, the meat that you buy in the store is probably a month old. So they have to give, and anything that's living that dies turns black. So they have to give it antibiotics. They have to give it all type of dyes and things to keep it looking red so that you can buy it. And so, And animals are not killed under pleasant conditions. So
I know you said that. I know you did say that.
When they're killed, their cortisol goes up because you just knocked them across the head or cut them.
And that translates to us?
And cortisol is our stressor hormone that causes increased inflammation. It makes you more insulin resistant. And insulin resistant leads to diabetes, to clogging your arteries, a whole lot of stuff. Obesity, which all that leads to death.
All of those things.
And chronic disease.
So I want to go to Instagram real quick. There's a lot of folks on Instagram with questions, but you guys have an opportunity to ask Dr. J a question. Let me put that back.
And buying organic is better, but you still have to do your research, because now people are ruthless. They just lie about everything.
Yeah.
So if you're buying organic, just make sure you're buying from a great source that you can, that they're not doing other things in the kitchen and saying they're organic and they preparing them all together,
Right. They be lying.
Yeah.
People be
So
lying.
we have to wake up and do our due diligence. It's our life. We only get one.
Yeah. I appreciate, now being single. I was married for 123 years. And so my ex was a chef. And so it was like, I really didn't have control over what we ate because he did all the cooking. And so now I can be like, I can kind of choose to eat a little bit healthier, I have choices and be intentional about the things that I buy at the grocery store, things like that. So it's been better, but I still have to get better because you're used to doing you're used to doing the things that you're used to doing. And it's these habits. I'm gonna add, because the thing about it is Instagram, you can't see their comments on here. But I thought I seen some. Yeah, I thought I seen some questions on Instagram. So let me see it, or comments or something. So let me see what's going on over here on Instagram. I'm gonna share that screen over here. So let's see. I thought I seen some questions. Let me go back.
Farmers markets are great places to shop, but the thing is, if you're in a city, you have to find out where that is.
Somebody said, "Oh my God, so fasting clears our mind like getting sober?"
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll do another show about fasting because it's amazing. The longer you fast, how your body just kicks back in and gets rid of stuff, and you get so clear and you just like ready to go. The energy goes pop, pop, pop. You make new cells, you create new liver cells, new brain cells, everything.
Somebody said, "I'm concerned about 3D printed meat being in our markets, and we may not know."
Oh, you should be concerned.
What is 3D printed meats, Dr. Jones?
Exactly what it's like. You print meat on it's fake. It's CMO, right? You know how they 3D print houses?
What?
Yeah.
Somebody said, if the potatoes are organic, is that okay?
Yes, if you can find organic, but it's better to use a sweet potato.
Okay, got it.
Or
Dr. Jay, what are your thoughts about bioengineered foods?
Oh, definitely not. Bioengineered foods, our bodies are meant to heal themselves. So natural foods, that's how our bodies were created, to process the natural fruits and use them that way.
Mm-hmm.
The body's not going to know what to do with something that somebody created because that's not natural.
Yeah.
Why are we trying to take a shortcut around nature?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why are we trying to biohack nature?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's, you can always get a big pot. Next time you eat an organic, like an avocado, save the seed. Go get you a big pot that we normally put flowers and trees and plants in, put some soil in there and put your avocado seed in there. Grow your own avocado plant.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing about lemons. Well, it depends on also where you live, but you can also create a greenhouse in your backyard or come inside and create it on a patio with a heater.
Let's talk about that though. When you talk about growing your own on the patio with the heater. Okay, so I know I need to strike while the iron's hot while I'm thinking about it. So I'm gonna get one of them things, but it's snowing. So what do I do?
What things?
The things to grow some, the planter box. I want to get a planter box and I want to start growing. Do I start in my house?
You can't leave it outside if it's snowing, but there are only certain, so you have to understand what grows in season.
Oh, okay.
So you don't try to grow lemons in a season that is not lemon season. So
what should I start off growing?
You change it out for the things that grow in those seasons. So they're like fall fruits and vegetables. There are winter fruits and vegetables. There are things you plant. So you have to, if you can find, like, Google local farmers, local Black farmers, they will help you with that. Like you say, GIS.
GTS, girl. Come on.
GTS.
Google that shit. She said GIS. That sounds like something my mama would say. Google. Just messing it up with confidence. GIS. No. So in a winter season, what would be a good place for me to start? So say I got my first planter box. I go and I order a planter box and I get the things and I start it in my kitchen. Can I start getting like a small one in my kitchen, put it in the corner somewhere?
Yeah, just put it in the window. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You're not trying to create a farm. You're just trying to feed your family.
So what would be a good thing to start now in the winter?
Huh?
I'm sorry. What would be a good thing to start right now in the winter?
I don't know. I'm not a farmer.
Okay, got it. I'll
I go to the
I'll
farmer.
GIS. I'll Google that shit. I'll go Google.
Yeah, Google that. Yeah.
Okay,
But
okay.
potatoes usually are for the fall, like greens. There are some cold greens you could grow, in the cold.
Wow. Okay. She said all V8 juices are now made with bioengineered
Yes.
ingredients.
So make your own V8 juice. It's just tomatoes
So
and seasoning.
he said, I want to start with potatoes.
Okay. So see, that's the thing. Wake up and let's start with something. One thing.
That's good.
Even if it's going to sleep at night, getting 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
Turning off that TV, turning off your cell. Stop. The light on the cell phone causes your brain to decrease the melatonin, and that's our sleep hormone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Move all that stuff out of your bedroom. Just lay down and go to sleep.
As a single person, I've been single for 5 years now. I have phones, I have cords, I have almonds. They all lay next to me in my bed. So I need to get all that stuff out of my bed.
We have to come to your house and help you move all that out. Tell you no to this, no to that.
Fill me out, Dr. Jones, because it's bad up in my room.
Because all the electric stuff also sends out waves to our brain and
That's true.
decreases. And the overhead lights.
Like your
We're animals that are run by circadian rhythm.
okay.
So as the sun is up, it stimulates the hormones that wake you up and you're fresh, you remember. As past 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, the sun starts to go down. So your eyes look at the sunshine from here. So it starts releasing melatonin so that you can calm down and go to sleep at night. What happens is we get home at 5 o'clock and we turn all these bright lights on. And we wonder why we can't go to bed and we up all night. And then we pull the computers out and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a couple of questions on here. Calvin asked what started your journey, but you've already talked about that. So I'm going to encourage him just to rewind because she did talk about what started her wellness journey and holistic healing. But there was a couple of other questions in there. So Calvin, go back and listen to this.
Physician, heal thyself.
Say that again.
Physician, heal thyself. That's what started the journey.
You had to tell that to yourself?
Yeah, I healed myself.
Dr. J, is it true that human digestion system was not designed to break down meat?
Yes.
Don't go telling that lie. Y'all, that's a lie.
It's true.
Really? Okay.
We do not have fangs. You need fangs to tear through flesh.
So you tell me the acids in our stomach is not breaking down the meat?
No, that's why if you go on a fast, you're still having full poops a week or two later from the meat you ate. Because animals that are supposed to be carnivores, they have very small intestines. So when they eat the meat, it takes what it wants and they poop it back out, like boom. We have long intestines, which are our colon, small intestines, and it's long. That's for absorbing the nutrients from all the plants and vegetables. That's why after we eat meat, we get the itis, we get gassy, we get bloated. Yeah, because your body is trying to deal with all of that.
Wow, that's something. So, Dr. Jones, tell about what it is you do, because Calvin asked about your journey to holistic healing, but there's something more that you do. So you have a practice in Florida, right?
Yes.
And then you do something else for people that are not in Florida.
Yes, I have a consultation service where if you get a new diagnosis, I can help you plan out your journey, give you the questions you need to ask your doctor. Make sure it's like a second opinion. So you will be educated and knowledgeable when you go talk to your physician. Because I get it. It's not many Black physicians, Black and brown physicians. There aren't. But if you can take someone that can ask the question, or if you need a list of questions to ask, and then I can tell you and lead you through this maze of what I call sick care, and it's not healthcare. And I also help people who decide they want to become vegan or become plant-based, total, no fish, no fish is animal, eggs are animal, cheese are animal, honey is animal. If you want to cut out all of that, there's a way to do it, because a lot of people say they see people that are overweight that claim that they're plant-based because they don't know how to do it. You can't just go plant-based. You got to know how to combine the green leafy vegetables, the grains, the fruits, the starchy plants.
I'm sorry, I was muted. So in addition to your practice, because what do you do in your regular practice though?
So in my regular practice, I'm a family medicine doctor. And
Okay.
so I heal diseases. So all
Right.
of my patients now are transitioning and getting better, and they're more energy. I deal with men and the hormonal issues, and I get down to the root cause. I just don't give stuff. I get down to the root cause. What actually is causing this? What in your lifestyle is causing this? So we do deep dives. I get my patients balanced. And that's what I do in Florida. Otherwise, online, I can give you the information so you can be educated to go and find you a physician, or I can help you find someone that's like me in an area where you are. But my whole thought process and the whole reason why I'm here is to help people heal themselves.
Yeah.
Our bodies are meant to heal ourselves. The stuff we put in, just stop it.
I seen something that said
Prove me wrong.
prove you wrong. I saw something that said something that heals you should not give you side effects. Something that cures you should not also give you side effects. So you take in one thing, it's going to affect the other thing.
Right.
And the thing I love, so I went to Dr. Jones, and so she has a consultation. You go to askdrj.info and you can sign up. And the great thing is, like, a lot of people that I know that personally went to them, and I can't tell their business, and she certainly won't tell their business, because I remember talking to somebody and I was like, and they were like, oh, I lost weight, or this is, and I'm like, when did she was like, I went to Dr. J, and I was like, oh shoot, I just went to Dr. J. She ain't tell me. She ain't supposed to tell you. But people have been healed from diseases. She was able to give second opinions and send people to other doctors, because the thing about it is, a doctor will come, they'll see you 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and then they'll kick your ass out, and they don't really care. So she'll take your blood work. She'll look at your blood work, and she'll analyze it, and she'll say, okay, do this, go here. Here's a physician in your area that can actually specialize in this or that. And I went, I'm relatively healthy, a little overweight, about 15. I can lose about 15 pounds, and I'm on the trajectory now. So y'all, my body about to be right in the summertime. However, she, when she looked at mine was good. My cholesterol was a little elevated, but it's probably because of that cheese. So I need to work on that. But she was able. So I took my blood work, because I go to the doctor like every 6 months. Took my blood work, and she was able to look at it and kind of just break it down. And that's what she does. That's what she did for me. And she's helped other people with pain, especially inside our group Net 7. And oh, by the way, she's a part of the Net 7 Collective, which is a group of women from all over the country. If you're interested, go to net7collective.com, because this is a community of women who are killing in the world, and Dr. Jones just happens to be one of them. But if you have, if you need a second opinion, if you want her to analyze your blood work, I guess, if you need just to speak to somebody, if you need to speak to somebody, if you want to transition to being plant-based, anything like that, it is well worth the consultation. And it's a small investment on your life. It is a small investment on your life. And I rather pay her a little bit and heal my whole life than pay a whole lot later and be sick, because these doctors don't give a damn.
Specialist fees.
Yeah, man.
Hospital.
Yeah, man. I mean, all of that. Yeah. So Pearl asked on Instagram, does our blood type tell us how to eat? Because remember, there's a book called Eating for Your Blood Type.
No.
Okay.
People come out with all type of stuff. Okay.
So somebody said, do you have a Zoom calls? I'm in Las Vegas. Yeah, she does hers on Zoom. Yeah. So you go to, where you go? Ask Dr. J.
.info.
AskDrJ.info.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's where you go to schedule your appointment with her. Yeah, she does it on Zoom. And then let me go here, and we got to get up out of here, girl.
Yeah, because I have.
You got to get to work.
I'm still a doctor.
I know, right? Somebody said we need more Black men to become doctors as well as our men becoming comfortable with going to girl. Yes. Okay. Hormonal imbalance.
Can I address the guy who said why we have been eating meat for so long?
Yeah.
Why has man been eating meat? Musin Abdin has been eating meat for thousands of years. Well, that's a fallacy. That's a lie. People have not been eating meat for thousands of years. Think. I mean, let's think about it. There were not refrigerators. There were no markets. There was nothing. How did you eat meat? You had to go find an animal and kill it. Do you think that happens every day? No. People did not eat meat. That came with capitalism, the ability to make a dollar.
So somebody said, help, I'm in Memphis. Go to askdrj.info. So we're going to get up out of here. Somebody said 2 things. You must heal the body to get rid of the waste in your body and feed your body nutritional food. Exactly. Absolutely. Trust No TV said, I need a man in my bed. And you know what? You are absolutely right. My daughter sent me this.
And I don't mean to bring her into this, but me and my mama need new niggas today. Right now.
Bye, y'all.